Tuesday goodness, your Tuesday greatness, just your Tuesday piece of joy. Just a little bit of something. Welcome to Vessel of Hope. It's so good to see you. So good to have you here. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being a part of the family of the Vessel of Hope Stir. I love and appreciate you. And hello Tuesday to you. Hello, Prophet Soretta, Sister Diaz, and Sister Bridget. Wonderful, and everyone else that's coming on, that's taking your time. Thank you all for being a part. Hello. Please go ahead and love if you're on Facebook and share. If you're on YouTube, I need you to go ahead and like. And if you have not subscribed, just go ahead and subscribe. Go on. I'll give you 2 seconds to do it. Go ahead, subscribe. 1, 2. Thank you. Appreciate it. And click that notification button on there so that when we go live, or just in case we just want to randomly pop up on you on a Vessel of Hope Stir here, you can know when we're on. So thank you all so much for being a part. Thank you all for doing that. For go ahead and like, share, love, and to let everyone know that we are on today. We thank you all. We appreciate you. Well, today's Tuesday, Crab Tuesday. As you know, Apostle's gonna go ahead and she's gonna buy a crab company because she loves crab and she wants Crab Tuesday. So we gotta have Crab Tuesday. So welcome to Crab Tuesday. So today I want to talk to you real briefly on it's not how you start. Tell yourself, be self. Be like myself, self, girl. Girl is not how you start, girl. Go ahead, say it just like that. Put a little attitude. Self, girl. Let me tell you, it's not how you start, girl. Just like that. So it's not how you start. If you're a man, self boy. Get a deep voice. Self boy is not how you start, boy. Okay? It's not how you start. That's what I want to talk to you about today. It's not how you start, right? I like to watch track and field, especially when they have the Olympics. I love track and field. I love to watch that part. I think our entire family like track and field. We love to see that excitement. And we always root for somebody. Like, man, they fast, and so on and so forth. So we love to watch track and field. And one of the things I notice in track and field is they have something called a false start. I'm sure many of you, for those of you who have watched track and field or who have been to one of these events or something like that, you've heard that before. The false start. They have a false start. What is a false start? A false start is an invalid or disallowed start to a race. It's usually due to a competitor beginning before the official signal has been given. Right? I'm gonna read it again. A false start is an invalid or disallowed start to a race, usually due to a competitor beginning before the official signal has been given. A false start is also an unsuccessful attempt to begin something. That is a false start. An unsuccessful attempt to begin something. You know, don't be lying. I be doing good all that. I mean, my nose is running a little bit. But as soon as I sit down here, my allergies be like, oh, you're dripping. But don't worry, I came prepared to that. Got my best little cup with some water inside to help me. And yo, side note, I went to my doctor and I was like, you gotta give me some for these allergies because it ain't no joke. But again, I read all the side effects and I'm like, I don't know if I want to be taking all this stuff. Because the pill that you give me make me drowsy and tired in the night. I'm like, oh, not that. And then I find out the nasal spray you give me, the side effects is sleepy and drowsiness too. So anywhere you put it, I'm going to be falling asleep on this place here. But no, let's go on. So a false, so we're talking about it's not how you start. So the false start here, it's an unsuccessful attempt to begin something, right? I think on many occasions in our lives we may have experienced a false start in some way, shape, or matter. Some way, shape, somewhere we've all must have experienced some kind of false start. For example, look, for those who have dropped out of high school, or for those who have who have started college but didn't finish it, what is that? That's a false start. It's an unsuccessful attempt to begin something. You start and it's like, I didn't quite make it. I didn't quite make it through. You have that false start. For those of you who started a business, and I'm sure in the beginning, before you reach where you're at right now, you're like, oh, you had a few false starts. You had to go, let's retreat, let's move around, let's see how we can do it, right, Sister Camille? How is this gonna happen, right, Papa Patricia William? How are we gonna do this again? How are we gonna maneuver this? Because you go through these processes of false start, even in relationships, right? You have experienced false start, right? Again, false start is what? It's an unsuccessful attempt to begin something. So, Apostle just yawned. I'm bored of Apostle.
No.
Y'all, I just heard
I
it.
went up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 this morning.
I heard it with my own eyes. So,
You're not bored of me. It's good.
so, so again, a fall start. Y'all, we have fun here. We have fun in Vessel of Hope, right? This is why it's not like a preaching section or nothing. It's a show. It's a show. You know, if you those of you who follow us before, you know we have a lot of guests on. We cover a lot of plethora of topics. So we have fun here because what? We want to brighten your Tuesday. We want to make sure that your Tuesday is great. We're not coming to bring you down. We're coming to lift you up to make you feel good, right? So let's go ahead. A false start is not how, again, I'm talking about it's not how you start. So a false start, right, again it's an unsuccessful attempt to begin something. So let's look at this. Let's look at certain ways on how you have to look at how you start something, right? Right? So today I want to give you two perspectives on why it is not how you start, right? We're talking about not how you start. Right, Professor Loretta? So I want to give you two perspectives on why it is not how you start, right? Perspective. Got a tissue here. There's no joke over here with the allergy. So the first perspective is it's the process, right? That's the first perspective on why it's not how you start. It's the process, right? And in knowing that it is the process, we look at what are you learning? What are you learning? What are you learning, right? Because it's the process, right? It is the process, right? So what are you learning through this process? While you're going through this process, everything in your life is a process. Even if you want to go eat a microwave meal, it's a process. You got to take it out the wrapper, take it out of stuff, put it in the microwave, put it for like 5 minutes or however long they do for microwave meal. Wait, press start, and you wait. You wait for the process of that food to cook or heat up or defrost or whatever it is. So everything in life is a process. When you're going somewhere, whether you're walking or you're driving, you're walking, the stop sign comes on, do not walk come on, you stop, you wait. But if you like New Yorkers, you like to jaywalk a lot. Y'all be careful with that. But you stop, you wait. It's a process to get where you're going. You're driving. There's a red light. You have to stop and wait until it's green so you can go. So everything, almost everything that we do in life, there's a process to get to there. There's a process as you're going through. So the one thing you must understand on why it's not how you start is through the process of it. What are you learning? What are you learning in this process? Everything in life are process, and in that process there have to be a starting place. But it doesn't necessarily have to be how you start, but it's what are you learning through the process after you start, right? From the moment that you say, let's go, you should be learning something. Should I put my right foot first? Should I put my left foot first? As again, you go back to track and field when they're racing. They get ready, and as they're waiting for it to go on your mark, right? When they say on your mark, they start lifting the leg up, right? Get set, they start moving forward, right? Go, boom. So they have to learn that process on how to start to get moving. So in everything, again, there's a process on how, when we're starting, how we get to where we need to go. But it's what are you learning through the process after you start, while you are going. This is while you are going. After you started and while you are moving, what are you learning? This is in the moment. This is in the moment right now. What are you learning in this moment? What are you learning in the moment that you start and you're going through? What are you learning? Right, Professor Loretta? Appreciate you. Right? This is something that we have to always take note of. When you start, while you are in the process, take note of what are you learning, right? Right? And you may learn these things. You may learn failure. That's one of the things. I know a lot of people begin to learn a lot about failures when they go through the process in the midst of starting what they're doing, starting where they're going. What are you learning? You may learn failure. Failure, oh, I may try. You know that thing? If at first you don't succeed, try again. That's what you're learning. Okay, failure. I did it, I tried, I'm not being successful in it, I'm doing it, I'm trying, I'm not being successful in it. This is all part of the process in when you're starting, right? The failure. Something else you may learn success. Right, Sister Camille? You may learn success. You started the process, you're growing, it's developing, I'm learning these things. These are what I am learning as I'm going through, right? I'm learning, okay, it's getting successful. We're taking ground, we're shooting, we're going forward. And you may also learn disappointments. You may learn failure, success, and disappointment while you're in the process, right? Failure, success, and even disappointment. Why disappointment? Because you are starting the process and you may have some bumps, right? You may have some bumps. So while you're going through, you're having situations, you're having bumps, you're going over those humps, like when you're driving, in certain parts, mainly Brooklyn. I don't see we have it. Oh yeah, we do. We do have some bumps on our roads here. When you're going, no,
No.
no, we don't have no bumps on this road. But in Brooklyn, when you're driving, right, you're going, and they got the bump thing right over there. And you're going, and what happened? That bump, you have to slow down and boop. So that's what happens. In the process, as you starting, you're going, you're going to have some disappointments. You're going to have some bumps. Boom, you got to slow down. Boom, you got to go over that bump. So this is all a learning, what you are learning at this moment, at this time, during this process. But the main thing is that you've started. Always remember that. It's not how you start. Remember the process. Try to figure out what are you learning at this moment. And always remember, the main thing is that I started. I don't care what you said. I don't care what you're telling me. I started. It's almost like sometimes when you have to get up and you have to go about your day. You're like, I talk about this a lot, right? When you're like, I gotta get up. Oh man, the alarm is going off. You're like, One of the main thing for me, but I don't even know how to use a snooze button because I'm always scared that I'm going to use a snooze button and it's going to stop working and I'm going to miss whatever appointment. I'm this kind of way. As you guys know, I'm very strategic. I like order. I like structure. I like to know when things are being done. If I set an alarm for 10:45 and I feel like this 10:45 is taking long to come, in my sleep I start panicking that the 10:45 came and left. Right? This is my everyday thing when I have an appointment or I have to set an alarm to go somewhere. So in my sleep, I'm like, I think this sleep feels too long. I don't know, something not right, Apostle. This sleep feels like, I feel like I've been laying here too long. So I'll jump up at 9 o'clock and I'm like, I got an hour and 45 more minutes. So I lay back down. I jump back up and Apostle, it's so funny because Apostle sent me this video, the same exact thing. She always sends me something that's me. And that's exactly what I do. Then I jump back up at 9:30. Oh, okay, I got a few more minutes. I jump back up 9:45. Okay, got it. I jump back up at 9:30. Then you know what happened? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just get up because I'm going to keep jumping up because I'm scared I'm going to miss my time. I'm scared my alarm is not going to go off at 10:45. So I'll just get up at 9:45, 10 o'clock, or at 10:30 and just shut the alarm off and just go about my day. But the main thing is, once I get up, I get moving. Even if I'm tired, I get moving. I'm moving. I go take my shower. I go do what I got to do, go about my day. You get moving. So the main thing is just start. Just start. And while you're starting, what are you learning? What are you learning doing in the midst of this process, right? Remember, while you are going through the process after you started, take notes. Take notes on what you are learning. Take notes on what you are because you already started, right? Sometimes I feel like I talk in circles, right? I was telling my friend you were talking yesterday. My best friend was talking, and I was getting ready to tell her a story. So I was like, and I do this all a lot. She does this too, so we understand each other. And I'm like, but wait, let me preface. So my preface would start like 3 years ago. And we gotta work our way to today. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Phil. She's like, no, because she loves to hear details, and I love to hear her details too. So we preface, right? We preface until we get to where we're going. So the main thing is when you start, while you're going through, take notes. What am I learning as I'm going through? What am I seeing? What am I developing? All of these things we should be thinking about. And when I'm talking about now you started, we're talking about the process. This can be in your business. This can be in your relationship. This can be in life. This can just be through a trial. Whatever it is, when it's starting, when you're going through, as you're going through, take notes while you are going through. Here's what you should try to figure out while you're learning, while you're going through. This road is not looking too good. I'm not going to go on this one. Right? As you're going like, It look like Tricky Millie's down this road. I'm not going where Tricky Millie is, because Tricky Millie is gonna slow me down. Tricky Millie is where the bumps is at. So I'm gonna go over here to smooth rumper. Don't go to Tricky Millie, go to smooth rumper. So take notes as to, you know what, as I'm going through this process, this is where I am right now. This is the road I am right now. This road is kind of rough. What am I learning while I'm on this road? Me, if you ever driven with me, whether it be in this county that we live in, whether it be in Brooklyn, Apostle knows I know all of the shortcuts.
Yep.
I know every shortcut in our county that we're living in and in Brooklyn. I know listen. And this is why I don't really like to go to the Bronx and Queens, because I don't know shortcuts. I just gotta take the highway, and I'm getting mad. I don't like to take highways, because again, when you're on the highway, if you're stuck in traffic, you're stuck, you can't go nowhere. But when I'm on the road, if there's traffic on this road, oh, you know what? Traffic on Linden, don't worry about it. I'm a bus over there to Amboy. I'm a bus over there to Church Avenue. I'm a bus over. I do a lot of bussings, right? Because I do a lot of shortcuts, right? So I know for sure, and this is what I learned. I know for sure when I'm on Linden, I don't take Linden, because Linden lights don't like me, or Linden lights don't like anyone's car, basically.
Camera.
Right, Sister Diaz? Right, Sister Diaz? Sister Diaz, you know how the system do to us, right? So when you're on Linden Boulevard, the cameras are there, and you're supposed to drive 25 miles. If you go 26, I feel like they just snapping you and sending you a ticket in the mail. So I don't take Linden, because I'm scared to get I'm scared to get me a ticket. I'm not trying to get no ticket. But peradventure, if I do jump on Linden, I take the service road. This is the trick to y'all people. Take the service road. The service road, the camera don't point to the service road. All right? But if I do get on Linden, I take the service road, and I go until I can get bus to my shortcut to get off, because I know if I take Linden all the way down, right, Prophetess Joyce, sometimes these cameras, they're a little tricky, and you 25, and it'll snap you, and you're not even going 25. So for me to avoid getting a ticket, I don't take Linden. I bus to a shortcut. So this is what I'm telling you. When you're in the process, after you've started, while you're going through, while you're there, learn from it. Okay, you know what? This road is kind of bumpy. If I prevent you come back here, I'm not gonna take this road again. Learn from it. So me, every time I go to Brooklyn, listen, I fly off Linden. Listen, I fly off Linden like you said, boat. Right, Prophet Loretta? You know what I'm talking about. Prophetess Joyce, you live close to Linden. You know what I'm talking about. Don't go on Linden. Don't go Kings Highway either. They snapping you all the time. If you do, take the service road. But yeah, but you should learn from the road that you've taken while you're in the process. Also, you need to ask yourself a question. If I do it this way, let's see the outcome, right? Because remember, this is the process. So while you're going through, there's really no right or wrong. It's all a learning. So if I do it this way, what will be the outcome? If the outcome is not good, if the outcome is not bad, hey, I'm going to change, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. It's also like, let me put a plug here. Like when I write my blogs, you're going to get one coming up this week. When I write my blogs, I'll sit down there and I'll start with something, and I'll write a whole page and a half, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what, let me go retweak it. So I go back and then I put that aside and I start a whole new one again. Why? Because I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like this one's for the season. Same with Apostle. When Apostle get prophecy, she says this all the time. Some of the prophecies, okay, I'm going to release some of it now, right? And then, okay, you know what? I can't release all of it right now. I'm gonna tell you some in 3 months from now, okay? Because it's a learning process. We're like, okay, this is what I'm gaining from this. This is what I'm hearing from this, and this is something I don't need to use right now. I'm gonna put this aside later. So that's it when you're in the process, right? When you start and you're going through. Write down, what am I learning? Every day, this is what I do. When I go to bed at night, what have I learned today? This is what I do. What have I learned today? What could I do differently tomorrow from what I've learned today? You like that, right? What have I learned today, and what can I do differently tomorrow from what I've learned today? Because life itself is a lesson, and every day you're going to learn something. Every day there's a learning process. Every day, right? The Apostle yesterday, Apostle got up and she's like, I said, what happened? What happened, my boo? What happened? Like this. And you know what's funny? And this is, I tell people, honest to God, I tell people this all the time. Usually sometimes when something happened to Apostle, it happens to me too. I tell you, let's recap real quick. Real quick, right? One time, Apostle broke her thumb, or sprained her thumb. Broke or sprained. You know what happened to me the next day? I hammered my thumb. True story, true story. So usually if something happened to Apostle, I'll be like, Lord Jesus, I don't want this one, Father God, don't do it, I want this one. Last week, I'm walking around my leg, and I'm like, oh, y'all, I got up the bed, and I was like, oh, Father, in the name of Jesus, if you ever send a healing power, send it right now on my leg. My leg was hurt all day, and I'm coming down the stairs, and Apostle's laughing at me because she said I'm walking like Mother P, because I'm like it hurt so much, I have to take ease, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, you don't even understand, like it hurt so much, like it hurt from the sole of my feet all the way to the crown of my head, like it was so much pain last week, and I was like, oh, and I'm like, maybe it's how I slept, maybe I elevated my bed too wrong, maybe it's how I twist my feet, whatever. Yesterday, I came home. I said, what happened to you, boo? Apostle Walker, she all limping. I said, oh, last week that was me. Now it happened to you. Now we got to reverse. Something happened to you. Something happened to me. Happened to you. So anyway, so what is the outcome? What are we learning? What are we learning? That's a side note story for you guys. What are we learning? What are we learning as we are in it? Right? One of the main things that you should be learning while we're going through, right, is perseverance. That's one of the main things. When you start, doesn't matter how you start, you may start sluggish, you may start struggling, you may even start like Rapunzel. You just rolling, you just rolling through it, right? It's not how you're starting it, but it's what you're learning while you're going through it. And the main thing you should be learning is perseverance. You should learn perseverance. What is perseverance? Perseverance is the quality of continuing with something even though it is difficult. The quality of continuing with something even though it is difficult. Y'all, life is hard. I'm not going to tell you no falseness. Oh, life is so easy, so well. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. If somebody tell you easy, they must, you know how life is easy? They must be sitting in the grave. And even then it ain't easy if they didn't die in the Lord because they sitting in hell. But life is not easy. Life is hard. And life is all about perseverance. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep going. You have to keep saying, you know what? Oh my God, I'm gonna make it today. Yesterday I got up and I was feeling like, oh, you ever got up and you're feeling like, like you kind of uneven, like you just kind of, moving, like you're not in the right space, like you're not in the right space. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I gotta push through this day. I'm gonna have lunch with my best friend. She's paying better. She loves to eat. I love to eat. So I know she's gonna be ordering. Like she literally ordered. Let me see if she's watching me. She literally ordered like two. We had 2 meals, right? We ate. We sat. Then she was like. Then we had soup, right? So get some soup. I think I might have some soup. So we ordered soup. Then she ordered another meal. Then she ordered another soup. And I'm like, just keep these ginger ale rolling. I'm just not working for me yesterday, but I persevered because I got, you know what? It's the only time I'm gonna get to really see her for this month, to really hang out. So I persevered. I pushed through all I was going on. Y'all don't even want to know what's happening in that restaurant inside. But I made it through, right? So life is hard. Again, I say life is hard, and you have to persevere. You have to push past all of these, your feelings, your emotions, life, and that's just things in general. Forget when the enemy comes in like a flood. That's another thing you have to push past. So life is all about perseverance. You're always pushing through something. You're always pushing through how you're feeling today. If you really want to get up and go to work today, do I want to eat breakfast today? Do you want to pray today? Am I going to come on a prayer line tonight? Do I got to listen to Pastor Marcelle's voice and just all today? Oh my God. So there's so many things that you have to push through and persevere yourself past, right? Again, perseverance is the quality of continuing with something even though it is difficult. Life is difficult. Yesterday may have been difficult for somebody, but what? You persevered. You pushed through it. Today may even be difficult for somebody, but what? You're going to persevere. You're going to push through it. And tomorrow may not even be any better. But life is hard and you have to persevere. So that is dealing with the process, and when you start, persevere. Paul said it this way in Hebrews 12:1. This is the Amplified Bible. Hebrews 12:1, the Amplified Bible, point B, right? Side B. Hebrews 12:1, the Amplified Bible. This is what it says. Let us run with endurance and active, persistent the race that is set before us. Let us run with perseverance, persistent. Let us keep going. And it's hard. That's what Paul tells us. It's hard, but you gotta keep running, right? Again, it's not how you start, but it's how you keep going. The God word translation said, "We must run the race that lies ahead of us and never give up." Ooh. Sometimes, right? Check my time because you're not gonna be here on the Fat Tuesday. Sometimes, right? I was laughing because I said, I only bought 2 packs of crabs, so there's only like 8 crabs. I said, that's probably like 7 for you and 1 for me. She said, no, that's 8 for me. And then I said, dang, so I guess I'm just gonna be eating the corn. But again, God was trying to say, we must run the race that lies ahead of us and never give up. Sometimes, let me not put on a preacher voice because we're talking, right? Me and you talking. Sometimes you want to give up because you start, even if you start bumpy, even if you start good, even if you start laughing, you start wonderful, right, Sister Diaz? You start exciting, you start good. You're like, okay, we're gonna make it through. You start good, but then life hits you, and you want to give up. What is life? Your bills. Your kids start acting like they ain't got no mama, no daddy, no papa, like they ain't come from nowhere. Your spouse start acting like you and him not married no more. You know, your boss start acting like you're not employed there no more. So life happens, and you feel like you want to give up. Again, we go. I love to say the word feel because everything is just a feeling. It's a feeling, it's an emotion. So not everything. A lot of things is feeling and emotion. So you feel like you want to give up, but what does Paul say? What does he say? Never give up. What? You like that, right? You like the Bible's letter? Never give up because you gotta keep going. The King James Version says you run this race with patience. It's hard. Oh, patience is a virtue. There's a son that said patience is a virtue. I don't desire patience, but patience. Someone said to me once, if you pray for patience, God will take you through a whole bunch of trials so you can get patience. I don't pray for patience. I just pray for understanding while I'm going through, right? So Paul says to us that you may feel like you want to give up, but you have to have perseverance. You have to be persistent. You have to keep going to the end. You have remember this. You have already started, right? You've already started. So just keep on going. So even when you feel like you want to give up, even when you feel like you want to throw in the towel, you've already started. Doesn't matter how you started. You're going through the process, so you keep on, baby. You keep on going. Okay, so the second thing, right? The second perspective I want to tell you about is not how you start. It's about the finish. Tell yourself that it's a Tell yourself it's about the finish. As I advertise my best of Coke Cup. The inside is not, right? So it's about the finish, right? So remember, one thing we're dealing with the process. What am I learning right now? What am I learning as I'm going through? And the second thing, the perspective is it's about the finish. And when it's about the finish, is what have I learned? So the process is what am I learning? The finish is what have I learned? Like that, right? Say it with me. The process is what am I learning? The finish is what have I learned? Say that one more time. The process is what am I learning? The finish is what have I learned? One more time? I'm going to say it one more time for you. The process is what am I learning? And the finish is what have I learned? You have just taken notes while you are going through. I told you, right? Take notes while you're going through. You've just taken notes while you are going through on what you are learning. Now you have finished, and now you are assessing the information and processing what you have learned through that journey. Right, Sister Camille? What have you learned while you are going through there? Right? Right? This is what you got to think about. When you finish the process, what have I learned? What was good about this relationship that made me marry you? Right? What have I learned? Because you said I do. So what was good about this relationship while we were dating, while we were courting, to make you get married? Or what was bad about this relationship that made me end it and I would decide not to go back to it? This is what? What have I learned? What was bad about this relationship, right? That I ended it and I'm deciding not to go back to it. What have you learned? This is how I used to deal with these individuals, but now I've learned from it. So the tools that I've learned from it, I use it for the future individuals that I will come in contact with, right? Because again, we talk about the people that you try to avoid, that you're trying to deal with. And I was telling someone the other day, I know each individual that I speak to, that I come in contact with. I know because I spoke with them maybe once or twice, or maybe from a text message, or maybe from a phone call, or maybe even from the prayer line at night when they say good evening. I learned it. I learned their personality. I learned their temperance. Or even when Apostle's talking, the comments they say during while Apostle's preaching, when she reads out, that make me learn about these individuals. So pre-adventure, if I ever have to sit down and talk to any one of them, or to a few of them, or the ones I have never spoken to before, I know what approach I will approach them with. Why? Because I've learned their personalities, I've learned their temperaments, I've learned just by, and I told my best friend this yesterday, I just don't just listen to what you say, I listen to what you don't say. So I've learned from that. So okay, you know what? I've learned this is, I dealt with someone like that. Okay, I'm gonna use that same, okay, this is what I've learned from when I deal with that person. Okay, this person kind of got the same temperament, the same personality. Let me use that same, let me speak to that person the same way. So what have you learned through it from a relationship to know how to get into the other one? It's not about coming out on top or finishing first, but it's all about what have you learned. Remember that. Because remember, it's not how you start. So if it's not how you start, it's not about coming out on top. It's not about being number one. It's about what have you learned when you were going through, now you reach to the end. Right? 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 Better the end of the thing than the beginning thereof, right? Come on, Solomon, you said it. Right? Better is the end of that thing than the beginning of it. So what have you learned? What have you learned from it? Right? 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 Y'all make me say that right a lot, right? Right, Prophet Loretta? Right? Right, Sister Camille? Right? Right? You should never reach the end of a trial and not grow or not get wiser or not gain from it. You should not come out of divorce, right? And not learn and not get wiser or not gain from it to know, okay, whether you want to date someone like this or you want to go in a relationship with this other person. You should not end a friendship without knowing what have I gained, what have I learned, have I gotten wiser from this? Yes, in everything. You should not know, okay, like Mother P, she got 6 kids. My eldest brother, he's guinea pig. Because Mother P never had a kid before until she had him. So what? So he run through the shuffle, you know, he get all the however you get it, however spanking he got, you know, but he was quiet back then, right? So how many spanking he got then? So when my second brother came along, Mother P, okay, I already had 1 child, I learned, I developed, this is what we did with this. Okay, second child do this. And then here comes Apostle, 3rd child. But now what? She's the girl. Mother P never had a girl. She had 2 sons. Now she got a girl. So now she learned from what she did with the two sons she had, but she had to take that. Now she had to shift that to a female perspective. How should I deal with this daughter? So now here she go again. Bam, bam. Number 4, she got another son. Okay, I already have 2 sons. Now I have a daughter. Now I have another son. Okay, now I know. I learned from the 2 sons how to deal with this 3rd son. Bam! Mother P goes again. Mother P been going a lot. She just goes through a lot, right? So now Mother P go again. Bam! Number 5. She got another son, right? So okay, now I have 3 sons. I have 1 daughter, and now I got another son. So the lessons I've learned from how I raised these 3 sons, I'm going to use that on how to raise this other son. And bam! She go again, as they like to call me, the mistake. But I made it in. I made it through. I came out, Mother P. I came out. Bam! She go number 6. Here I come. The next girl. So now, Mother P already had a daughter. So she already processed and learned how to deal with this 1 daughter. So now she used those tools, right, that she's used with Apostle to raise me as a female, right? In that process on how to be a girl, how my mannerisms, so on and so forth. So in everything, you learn. I learned from this. This is how I'm going to use these 2. Take these 2, move them, use them to this one, right? So again, is what am I learning, right? You should always reach the end, trial or life or whatever situation you're in on growth You should always grow in a way. You should always get wiser, and you should always gain from it. If you leave a company, you start a new job. What did I learn from this last company, right? That I can bring to this new job. Always learning something. So remember that. So here's something. Let me tell you something. We look at Paul, right? Paul now on his way to Rome. He's a prisoner. Oh, man, I mean, like Paul's whole life is, he's just in prison. Some of y'all may not be physical prison, but some of y'all feel like y'all in emotional, spiritual prison, right? Take a sip right now. Right? But Paul is in the physical prison. But look here, in Acts 27, 43 and 44. That's Acts 27, 43 and 44. Acts 27, 43 and 44. It says, but the centurion, willing to save Paul, kept them from their purpose, and commanded that they which could swim should cast themselves first into the sea and get to land. Verse 44. And the rest, some on boards and some on broken pieces of the ship, and so it came to pass that they escaped all safe to land. Right? So again, I say to you, it doesn't matter how you start, but it's how you finish. Here the situation with Paul. The ship is broke apart, right? Like what happened there in Baltimore, with the ship going through the bridge and just bust the whole bridge apart. Why are you going this way? You're hitting the thing that's sustaining the bridge. But we're not going to talk about that anyway. But they said it was a distress call from the ship. So something happened inside there that made that happen. But here's Paul. He's in the ship, and the ship is breaking apart. But what happened? They said it didn't matter how they came out. Everybody find you. But if you can swim, go first. Go first. Go on. The rest of them what? On boards, on broken pieces. But at the end, what did it say at the end? And it came to pass that they escaped all to land. So sometimes, again, it doesn't matter how you start. And some of you may come through your trial or come through at the end of the week. You may be holding on to a piece of board like, Lord, I don't know. You may be like, what's that movie? Titanic. You're going to be Rose. You're going to be you're going to be on the board while Leonardo DiCaprio is in the water sinking, freezing to death. No, you're not going to be freezing to death. You're going to be on the board. Some of you, it doesn't matter how you end, but the point is you're ending. Some of you are going to be ending holding on to the skirt tail of Jesus like, Lord, oh, I barely made it through this week. I barely made it through this trial. I barely made it. But again, it doesn't matter how you end. Some of you may come out with your wig in the corner and your natural hair. Some of you may come out with one shoes on, one shoes off.
Hey.
Right, Apostle? I always walk around with 2 different socks. But my brother,
Yep.
they got her, my sister-in-law got her some socks for her birthday, so she was excited for that. Some of you may come, I may end up walking out with no glasses. It's a miracle I can see. But it doesn't matter how you come out. The whole point is that you have made it through. Remember that. It doesn't matter when you're going through how you start, whether it be a trial, when it may need a trial that you go through, may need the cares of life that you go through, may need the burdens that's trying to hold you down that you're going through. It's not how you started. It's what are you learning? What have you learned? And it's that you made it to the end. It's that you made it to the end, right, Evangelist Suggs? Is that you made it to the end, like that you came out through the end of it, right? The whole thing is that you have finished. So I'm going to leave you with this here. I'll leave you with this here, Prophet Joyce, in Matthew 23, Matthew 24 and verse 13. Matthew 24 and 13, the Amplified Bible says this way. But the one who endured and bared up under suffering to the end will be saved. I know we're talking about, you go through your battles, your trials, your testing, and you make it to the end, Jesus is going to catch you, but I'm going to use it in this context. You've made it through the week. You've made it through this trial. What? You girl, it don't matter how you came out, you made it. That's how you need to look at your day. For those of you that may be going through, maybe you're having some emotional problems, maybe anxiety, maybe stress, maybe burden. Like, you know what? I made it through the day. God, you kept me through this day. I made it to the day. You go to work, Sister Diaz, we pray for you every day, constantly as you're a police officer. You're out there, there's a lot of crazy things going on. You go to work, when you come home, I say like, Lord, thank you, I made it through the day. It was a tough one. Whatever job you do, you go out, you hustle, you work, you burden, you stress, you think, you come home, you're like, God, I made it through the day. Your kids acting like they ain't got no sense. At the end of the day, you lay down your head and say, Lord, oh, I made it through the day. Again, your husband acting like he don't even know your name no more. When you lay down in bed at night, you're like, oh, Lord, I made it through the day. So it doesn't matter how you start that day. It doesn't matter what the temperament you start with. It doesn't matter when the trials come how you start with. It doesn't matter how you feel when you start. But make sure while you're going through the day, even while you're going through the day, as you're going through, even right at this moment, as you're sitting down, as you're listening, as you're walking, as you're listening, whether you're listening in the car, at work, or at home, what are you learning right now? And then by the end of the night, what have you learned from today? And you know what? Thank God you made it through the day. So it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. Remember that. It's not how you start, right? It's not how you start. Sometimes you take time to just run through the day and you don't get the lesson. Don't ever do that. Because why? Because tomorrow you're going to repeat that same thing happening tomorrow. In every day, in every trial, in every situation. And let me just say this. Don't get a false conclusion, right? I don't like people that give a false. You know what the Lord is trying to teach you? No, stop. That's not. Don't laugh, Pastor. Don't make a false conclusion what you think the Lord was trying to teach you. No, it's not about what you think. It's what you know He's trying to teach you. Because if you keep thinking this is what you're not sure, and you're going to go through it again. So it's what you know God is trying to tell you through this moment. What you know God is trying to teach you through this moment, right? So again, as you go through the process, it's not how you start. Remember, it's not how you start, but it's the process. What are you learning in this moment before the end of the day, before you go to bed tonight? What are you learning right now? And then when you go to bed tonight and you lay down before you go to sleep, this is what I do again. I say, I process my day. What have I done? What could I do differently? What have I learned from today that I can change for tomorrow? Right? What am I learning right now? And what have you learned by the end? It's how you finish. Remember that. It's a process and it's how you finish. Not how you start, but it's a process and how you finish. Listen, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Don't forget to go on to www.hellomarcellesampson.com. Go on there, check out the blog. I got a new blog coming up this week. Check it out. You'll see a lot of things, beautiful things, and you can see my beautiful face, right? I tell her every time someone say, "Oh, you just look like a stop." I'm prettier. What's wrong with you, right? So go on over to www.hellomarcellesampson.com and check out the blogs right there. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The information for you is right on the screen there. If I said that website too soon, too quickly, you didn't know it, it's on your screen there. Go like, subscribe, and love. If you're on Facebook, go ahead, love and share. Again, I say it every week. This may not be something for you, but it may be for someone that come on your wall. This may not be something for you, but you know someone that need to know it's not how they start, but they got to go through the process, and it's how they finish. Okay? So I love you. Let me pray for you. I appreciate you, Lord. I thank you for your people tonight. I thank you for each and every individual that took time out just to listen to my voice. I don't even like to hear my voice sometimes, but they listen to my voice. And I thank you. I thank you, Lord, that for everything I've said, God, that something may have touched their heart, may have helped them. The main thing here is that they grow, that they change, and that they be better, and that their day is fulfilled, their day is lifted up, that they can continue to go on and strive on with you. Continue to keep your people and bless them indeed as they go through the day. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you all. Love, appreciate you. And I'll see you on next week. God bless you.